I mix what I like, what I like, what I like, what I like, what I like. Welcome to the special edition of I Mix What I Like right here on BPM. One specific again to our wonderful patrons and YouTube members. Thank you very much for your support. I definitely hope you enjoy this early access to this video. So as some of you may have already heard, I've brought it up one or another times. I used to be a rabid, fervent supporter of the Washington football team, formerly the Washington Slurs, currently renamed the Washington Commanders. Over the years, not only was I born in DC, not only was I raised in this area, it was not just a casual thing. I'm talking about rabid fandom, tailgating at RFK Stadium back in the day on a regular basis, never missing a game. Sometimes, definitely getting in arguments, sometimes in near full brawls over defending the team and arguing over silliness and whatnot. And it really wasn't until the downfall of the career of RG3, and then specifically the protests led by Colin Kaepernick that pushed me entirely out of the league. So there had been a deterioration over the years. There had been some questioning and a submission to the abuse of players and fans and consumers and citizens, and just so many abuses that submitted, and I finally just gave in. But as I said a couple days ago on the Remix Morning Show, not that long ago on the Remix Morning Show, I said that some of the backlash to the new name might bring me back. So in addition to the tailgating and all the support for I have been around for some of the iconic moments. I have even created, believe it or not, I instigated one of the more iconic moments, in fact, seen right here. So as we're about to see here, in January of 1992, Washington football team, the Washington Slurs, against the Atlanta Falcons, who at the time featured Deion Sanders on their defense and special teams. So they scored this touchdown. It's a big touchdown to close out the win.
Who started that?
Did you hear that? Who started that? So on that day, when we went into the stadium, I took 2 seat cushions because I knew I was going to throw one of them at Deion Sanders. We were positioned on the sideline, up in the stands, but on the sideline of the Falcons. And as you see there, Washington just scored the game-clinching touchdown. So Deion was on the sideline as a defender when that happened. After that play, I threw the first seat cushion to get this flurry of seat cushions started. This is what I'm just trying to tell you, how dedicated a fan I was. So when the announcer's saying who started that, it's me.
Who started that? Who started that?
Me. The infamous.
This will be the last time they hand out anything free that can be thrown. What was the signal? I think it was touchdown.
The signal was me throwing a seat cushion at Deion Sanders, saying, anyway, so I have conducted interviews on this history and talked about the history of this team. I have even been interviewed in documentaries about this team. In fact,
it's been said that an image is worth 1,000 words. A concept implying that a single visual element can replace a multitude of descriptive factors, that one image can carry meaning and definition far more adequately than any verbal or written description. In the case of our own definitions, that is, as Native American people, why have we been reduced to a single word, a single silhouette? Redskin, 1 word, 2 syllables. Labeled in many dictionaries as a noun, dated or offensive, and simply defined an American Indian.
There's a lot of complex history with DC, this football team, with race, its fan base. So I'm in that joint. I'm in the mix, pun intended, with these conversations for a long time. My point is I'm deeply ingrained in the history with this team. And when I left, when I gave up all of the emotional connection to that team, it wasn't easy and it took several years to accomplish. But I think I'm back. So again, as I mentioned before, with the new name, the Washington Commanders, having been just announced last week, some of the backlash has me convinced that I need to make my return.
The Washington Commanders.
What?
And I'm proud to be an American.
I have to admit that early in the process, all the names that they laid out, this was one of the ones that I really, really hated. It's the new team name. There's nothing we can do about it. The name definitely makes sense to a degree. I think it was one of the ones that Dan Snyder was probably looking at from the beginning. And honestly, if they would have asked an advisor, like, what's a good name to use, this probably would have been the number one. You know, it connects to DC. It doesn't piss anybody off. It's simple. It's easy, but it's not the best name. Personally, I really liked the name Red Hogs, and I've kind of been inkling and hoping that that was it for a while. And I knew it wasn't, but that was definitely the one I wanted.
So again, it doesn't piss anyone off, meaning we're tired of hearing about all these angry Indigenous people who are angry about this slur being used against them as a name for our team.
I've been a Washington fan my entire life. I still have a flag up behind me. I'm rocking the jersey. I have merch all in my closet that is just.
And what's the funniest part about him saying he's been a fan all of his life, judging based on his look by his age, he has never seen this team win. The team won its last Super Bowl in January of 1992, following the 1991 season. Susan Harjo, right after that, said, until you change the team's name, it will never have another significant win and it hasn't. So his whole life, he's never seen the team win. At least when I was growing up, as I showed you, the team was winning all throughout the 70s, all throughout the 80s. It was one of the winningest franchises. So for all of the racism and hostility and being in stands with fans like this guy, after all of that, at least the team was winning. He hadn't even seen that. But anyway, we're not even at the best part.
Completely irrelevant now that there's a new team name. So now DC has the Capitals, the Nationals, and before the Nationals, it was the Senators. So obviously DC just keeps going with the exact same type of name. Now we have the Commanders going into the mix. And I don't think they completely thought this one through, because now Commanders is going to definitely be shorted to Commies. So like, who's your team? Like, I love the Commies.
What did he say?
I love Commies. And that is gonna probably cause an issue at some point.
I'm back.
Also, might not have thought through the whole, they have red and yellow, and now people are going to shorten it to Commies. So you have red, yellow, and it's the USSR. I don't know if I need to spell that out, but that might have been a brief overlook on their part.
And so that was it. Just a short video, just a short announcement of my likely return to the fandom. And I love that this was part of the reaction to segments of the fan base after the announcement of the team name, that's meant from their perspective to pay tribute to the government, to the military commanders with the bars on the side like a military uniform, all of this stuff, which for me was like, I'm confirmation I'm not coming back. But once I saw he's not the only one, a number of responses like this saying, oh no, they're going to think it's the Commies, it's going to get shortened to Commies, I might have to be back. I mix what I like, what I like, what I like, what I like, what I like.